what you're suggesting or asking is, sometimes you may experience the divine in a formless aspect, and yet why do you still crave to see them in a form, right? Okay, it's a beautiful question. It's a beautiful question. So imagine you live by yourself in the woods. You have a certain routine. You have a beautiful hut with a thatched roof, and you've got a little bedding there in your hut, and you've got a little lamp that's lit, and it's the evening, and you were just outside. You finished your yajna, and now you're inside the hut. You're resting, and outside the stars are twinkling, and it's very dark, and the moon is out, partially because it's dark. And you feel like stepping out. You step out, and crickets are, going about, making that stridulating sound, and they're stridulating, and you're thinking, maybe I should take a little stroll. You've got a little block of land, and there is some vegetation there, and you start to move, and you smell this beautiful fragrance. First you think, oh, must be an illusion. And then you let it go. But then a minute later, that same fragrance returns. And you start to wonder, what's this fragrance? Where is it coming from? Where is this fragrance coming from? That's driving you crazy. But somehow you manage to put a lid on that desire, and you go back in your hut, and you fall asleep, and the next day you go about your business, you make your meals, you do your prayers, and in the evening you do your yajna, and you're back there, and once again you experience that fragrance. You venture out a bit more. The fragrance is even stronger. The third night, the fourth night, the same thing happens. And you start to wonder, really, I have to find out, what's the source of this fragrance? Some people may be able to ignore it, they will keep wondering, but some will say, no, I really have to find that out. I really need to know where this fragrance is coming from. I don't see a flower nearby. I don't see a musk deer nearby. I don't see any such creature. What is the source of this fragrance? This is exactly what happens when once you get bitten by the desire to see the formed aspect of the divine. That you have a formless experience. Something has changed in you. Some transformation has occurred, which stirs your soul, and now you are thinking, there has to be more to it. Why am I experiencing this transformation? What is the source of this transformation? What has triggered this transformation? I want to see my maker. I want to see who has created this, or why things are how they are. What is the source of all this creation? When you are driven by that desire deeply, that's when you automatically start to move towards form, worship of a form. And whom you worship at that time becomes somewhat immaterial. Just like you sow a seed in the ground, and I don't recall the exact quartet that Goswami Tulsidas wrote, but he said just how a seed becomes a plant and a tree, nirguna becomes saguna. That's how a nirgun becomes sagun. It just assumes that form. It was always there. When you plant a seed, it's not really eating the earth, if you see what I mean. If you put let's say, little pot and you plant a seed in there, as that little seed turns into a sapling and then a tiny plant and a little bigger plant, the amount of earth in the pot remains the same. Even the amount of water you're offering is not proportional to its growth. So how is it growing? It's taking some intangible elements from its surroundings, which could be earth, ether, sunlight, and so on, and somehow it's assuming a physical form and growing. And that is why that craving then doesn't go away. And also I believe it has a lot to do with your past lives as well. If you did a lot of worship in certain lifetime and your soul has carried that journey forward, which it will, it's not in your hands. You will feel attracted to that form, you will pray to that form, you will crave for that form, because that's what you're born with. It's just a part of your natural setup. And that's why that craving happens.